لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله
I was born and raised in Perth, here in Western Australia. Basically, I grew up and went to secular school for both primary and high school. My family is nominally Christian, I guess you would say. And I went to biblical classes after school during primary school. But as I went through high school, I started reading and looking at the Bible and analysing it for myself. There were many things that did not add up, and I found contradictory. It was about early high school when I abandoned Christianity. So, the whole concept of Jesus being God, being crucified, to atone for the sins of humanity, the whole Trinity theory. My family was Catholic, so it was through that branch of Christianity that I was brought up. There were just too many clashes and contradictions that defied logic, so it didn't sit well with me. And when I tried to pursue them and to ask for an explanation, there were none forthcoming. When I grew up, I was largely ignorant of Islam. There were no Muslims in my area where I grew up. There were no visible Muslims during my schooling. The first time really I heard about Islam, the Muslims, was 9/11. That's the first time Islam really entered my consciousness, and I began to think about it. Although at that time I didn't really investigate Islam from an intellectual standpoint because I was too busy entrenched in the temporary joys of this life, and I wasn't looking for a deeper purpose in life, albeit I should have been. Definitely, I think, alhamdulillah, Allah opened up my heart and mind to be receptive of Islam, and it was through my own unique circumstances and a specific context that I came to know of Islam, and it was presented before me. When I left high school, I had no goals or professional ambitions. I sort of wandered aimlessly, seeking the pleasures of this world, and I became involved in the music industry. I was heavily involved in freestyling and rapping, and I sort of made a name for myself here in Perth, pursuing that, and everything basically changed and went in another direction on one night when I was at a club doing an event, and I'd been consuming alcohol, and I began to feel really sick, and I had a very sharp pain around my liver area, and I actually collapsed down some stairs, and I went to the doctor after, and I was told basically you should give up alcohol completely, otherwise it could be potentially fatal. And at that point I thought, my life's over. All my fun times and drinking and going out with my friends, and I was a bit depressed about that, and I was bedridden, confined to my bed for a few months. I was very weak, I couldn't go out of the house. So at that point I requested people to bring me reading materials, and a couple of brothers that I knew that used to write poetry, they came to my house one day, and I remember it distinctly. They had a gift for me, and I'm looking, and it's the Quran, draped with a cloth underneath, so they handed it to me, and I'm unwrapping it, and it's an English translation of the Quran, and I remember opening it up and reading it, and especially reading Al-Fatiha, and then the start of Surah Al-Baqarah just caught my attention. This is the book wherein there is no doubt guidance for the righteous. I thought, wow, that's such a bold and grand statement. There is no doubt in this book. I never read such a statement at the start of the book, so I thought this book really must have something to say for itself, and that inspired me to keep reading it. Because all the books you read, even from professors, you read their dissertations, they're always talking about the limitations and various omissions and errors, and they're making apologies before the start of their work. It's not perfect, it's not correct. But here, I'm reading this book, there is no doubt whatsoever. And it really struck a nerve in me, and I just began to read the Quran, and so beautiful, and at the same time, it's so powerful. And being a Christian, I was used to reading the Bible and the various stories and narrations. This is like God speaking directly to you in the first person. And at the same time, I'm conscious of the fact that I'm not even reading it in its original language of revelation. So how much more powerful would it be if I learned the Arabic language? And alhamdulillah, just the translation of the Quran is so powerful enough. The following step after that was I just met with the brother who gave me the Quran, and we used to sit and we used to discuss Islam, and I would ask him various questions about Islam and the faith and its tenets, and he would always have a perfect logical answer derived straight from the Quran or the Sunnah, one of the primary sources of Islam, and it made sense, and it was natural and in line with my natural disposition and the way I always thought and conceived of the world, and it just sat right with me. And eventually it just got to the point where I could no longer deny Islam, and I knew it was the truth, and I felt the guidance, and I told the brother, I'm ready to accept Islam. And then it was on a Friday. We went for Salatul Jummah at the Thorny Masjid. MashaAllah, there must have been a few hundred brothers there, and it was perhaps a bit daunting. I went there, and after the khutbah and the prayer, it was Yahya Ibrahim. He said, we've got a brother embracing Islam, requested the brothers to remain behind, So I took the Shahada, and it was the most incredible feeling that I can barely describe, but it just felt like the whole weight of the world was lifted off my shoulders. I felt this light feeling as though gravity was suspended momentarily, and all my sins were cleansed, and it was truly inspirational. And I've never had that many brothers hug me after as I did on that occasion, and alhamdulillah. My immediate family were very surprised that I became a Muslim. I believe initially they thought it was just another of the many phases I was going through in my life, and maybe a couple of months I would just snap out of it. But they saw after maybe 4 or 5 months I was dedicated to Islam, I was studying it, I was growing in it, I was implementing it in my life to the best of my ability, and they saw, he's serious about this. Initially they probably thought he's not going to maintain this discipline, or not drinking and doing these things he used to do previously in his life. But after they saw I was serious, they really saw that it changed me for the better. So they were quite receptive to it.
Sure.
Yes, my parents are okay with it. I've provided them with some literature on Islam. We have discussions, and my mum knows when I'm at the house that I'll only eat from halal food, and she'll go to the butcher specifically to buy me the food. At first it's a bit funny, certain things they're trying to get used to. For example, I'm praying in the house, and my father will come and he'll start speaking to me when I'm in the middle of sujood, not realizing I can't lead the salah. And I think it took a while for him to realize that I have to, complete my salah. I'm not able to speak. And with my mother as well, the beard, when my beard started to become very long, she freaked out a bit, I think. And she told my wife recently, even, when he goes to sleep, you should come along and shave his beard off, as a joke. So yeah, there's those kind of things. Alhamdulillah, they really bring us together. And yeah, those kind of moments, alhamdulillah, allow me to explain Islam to them. And I think especially with the immediate family, showing them Islam by your actions is a lot more powerful really than discussing with them sometimes. So when it's during the month of Ramadan and I'm observing the fast, that shows Islam to them, and they become interested, and that naturally opens up a discourse about Islam. I think it's self-evident. My parents know better than anyone how it's changed me, but if you just made a list, 2 columns, column A, column B, what my life was like before Islam, what my life was like after. It is so apparent, before I was a Muslim, I was so lost. I, didn't complete my schooling properly. I didn't go to university. I didn't get a job. I was from one house to the other, around the streets, involved with the wrong people. But since I became a Muslim, I went and I did my stat test. I gained entrance to university. I completed a degree. I secured a good job. Got my license. I got a car. I got married. I achieved all these things that were not possible when I wasn't a Muslim, because I had no direction in my life. But Islam, it regulates your life and it gives you that discipline that's needed to control your desires and channel your energy in the right way, so that you can benefit yourself and benefit the larger society as well.
إن سألتم عن إلهي فهو رحمن رحيم أنزل الشرع حنيفا رحمة للعالمين رحمة للعالمين. If you ask me who my God is, on whose name I call, if you ask me who my God is, He's the God of us all, Allah the Merciful. If you ask me what my book is that I hold in my hand, if you ask me what my book is, it's the Holy Quran, the Holy Quran. إن سألتم عن نبي فهو إنسان عظيم علم الناس علوما جامع دنيا ودين جامع دنيا ودين. إن سألتم عن عدوي فهو شيطان رجيم خائن يدعو لكفر ويعين المعتدين ويعين المعتدين.